Carl Lawson, Andrew Thomas, rookie left tackle who struggled earlier this season, the Bengals' only quality pass rusher. This was the matchup to watch in the trenches in this game, and it was largely a one-sided matchup. Thomas played extremely well. He played like how a top 5 pick at the position should, and you saw some struggles from Lawson, who couldn't really do his usual damage against a player of Thomas's caliber. On this first play, we're going to have the Giants' biggest play of the day, the 53-yarder to Evan Ingram down the right sideline. And we're going to see Thomas get initial hands on Lawson and use those 36-inch arms to his advantage to keep Lawson at bay, right? Because, Lawson's got, pretty shorter arms. But Lawson usually times this inside arm pretty quickly. He's able to latch on to the inside shoulder of the tackle. But because he misses, because Thomas keeps him at bay with that length, Lawson then tries to go to the outside. And this is where you would want to see some more bend and him getting around the corner and getting under Thomas's second punch. But, this time Thomas just keeps his feet moving, keeps him in front of him, and latches that outside arm into Lawson's chest and just buries him to the ground. So, this is what happens if Lawson can't get that inside arm, locked in and latched on to that shoulder pad to try to win back to the outside, to the inside. He's kind of toast because he doesn't have that bend to get around to the outside. And this is a great job of Thomas utilizing that length, keeping his feet moving, keeping himself balanced, and just taking him down and not letting Lawson impact the pocket in any way, shape, or form. So now the Giants are down inside the Bengals 5. They're trying to run the ball in with Wayne Gallman. They eventually do it on 4th down, but a couple plays before that, look at Lawson just ragdoll Thomas to the side, shed him, get into that gap, help make a stop. And this is the difference, right? Because the timing is on Lawson's side now. He's the first into Thomas's chest instead of vice versa. So he controls where he goes, and he's also got the leverage advantage too. And Lawson is still strong as an ox, so he's able to pull Thomas down to the ground, shed to the outside, then work back into this gap, help plug it, make a stop at the goal line. Sometimes the guy on the other side of you, he's just bigger and he's just stronger, and that's just the way it is. Because the beginning of this rep, Lawson does what he wants. He gets that inside arm latched on to the inside shoulder pad of Thomas, right? He's going to work him to the outside and then lower that anchor and then drive back inside with this inside arm. But Thomas is using outside arms too. He's using almost a hug technique. So he's got both of his arms on the outside of Lawson's frame. And this is important because even though Lawson loses his feet here, he manages to recover, and now he's going to start driving horizontally to push this pocket. And you have Thomas kind of turned a little bit, so Lawson might have him where he wants, but because Thomas has a vice grip with those big, strong, giant arms of his, he's able to keep positioning and stay in front of Lawson despite Lawson pushing him back to the outside. He's unable to get this arm free because that's just how strong Thomas is, and he's locked in to Lawson's inside shoulder pad here. So even though he's opened up a little bit, he's not getting off this block. Lawson is not going to be able to shed this. That's just pure brute strength from Thomas here, and to prohibit Lawson from impacting the play, getting to Jones, or just getting back into this passing lane. This is well into the second quarter now. The Giants are in a 2-minute drill with a minute and a half to go, and Lawson is just not winning against Thomas. He needs to adjust, and this is the first time we really see him do that. Instead of going to that long inside arm, we're going to see him use his outside arm to chop down on Thomas's punch and try to work to the outside, and this in theory should create him space to try to bend around the edge. But Thomas isn't phased. Those hands don't go anywhere. He has to reset his hands and drive him back up into Lawson. But Lawson, he needs a little bit more burst around that edge because Thomas keeps his feet moving, keeps good balance in his vertical set, and keeps Lawson in front of him. And we see Lawson try to go back inside here as Thomas is now behind the quarterback, and he just stuffs him. That's just pure absorption of power by a very powerful player in Andrew Thomas. When he's at his best, and when he was at his best in Georgia, he just absorbed guys on contact. He was just unbelievable at absorbing bull rushes and power moves. And this is a counter from Lawson, but we see Thomas respond pretty well. And Daniel Jones has another clean pocket. Almost throws an interception, though. This is the second big play to Evan Ingram from Daniel Jones now in the third quarter. And we're going to see another one-on-one between Lawson and Thomas. And Lawson is going to go back to that outside arm chop, but a great punch by Thomas. Great timing to create space to keep Lawson at bay. The length advantage is just on Thomas's side. There's just nothing really Lawson can really do about that. And he just has to hope that Thomas just has mistiming his punches, but not in this rep. So Thomas creates space. Lawson has to string together another move here because that one didn't work. So then he drops his hips, drops his pads, tries to get lower than Thomas, but Thomas reacts and counters that with great reestablishment of leverage on his own part and dropping his hips, dropping his ankles, digging into the dirt, dropping that anchor, getting lower than Lawson. It's usually the other way around. Lawson is usually the guy that will get under a tackle's pads and lift him off the ground, but not this time. Thomas absorbs that, eats it up for breakfast. Daniel Jones has 3.5 seconds to throw this ball. Throws a beautiful one to Evan Ingram. This was the play where Daniel Jones fell down after he threw it because he realized that his hamstring was toast. And they're going to motion Evan Ingram to the other side. You have a one-on-one. And Lawson actually gets that inside arm in there into Thomas's chest because Thomas was late to bring his own inside arm back up there. So now we're 1, 2, 3 kick slides into the set, 4. And Lawson has an opportunity, a window to go back to the inside here, and he kind of gets some movement on there. But again, there's nothing more you can say about how strong and powerful that Thomas is to re-anchor and just plan on that post step here, post foot. And even then, Lawson's doing all he can to then just push him back to the outside and just shed it really quick, but he just can't. And Thomas almost gets tripped up by his own left guard's footing, and he falls to the ground, or he trips up a little bit. But this was Lawson actually gaining some ground here, but Thomas is still just too strong to do anything. One final rep just kind of sums up the day. You can see the process and the plan from Lawson here, but that's just great technique. That's great processing by Thomas. There's not Lawson is chopping and swiping away, trying to get those hands down, but Thomas does a great job of resetting him back down to his hips, pushing him back into Lawson, and there's just nowhere for him to go, Lawson relies so much on his hand placement and his upper body strength to win with power and get tackles off of their base. But he's not Von Miller. He's not going to be able to just bend around the edge like anything like that. And when Thomas's hands are this good and this reactionary, it's just hard to beat him because he's just too big. That's just the way it was in this game, and there's just not a lot that Lawson could do about it.